I got a whole
that's
thing
so
about though, looking at my chart, and they had a sketch drawing. I said, "What is this?" Was he down there doing his little art school project with his paint palette and his beret? And they go, "No, that's you." I go, "It looked like a map of Georgia." And then they had two arrows pointing. And I go, "What is that?" She goes, "Oh, you got a little problem there around Savannah."
There are a lot of problems in Savannah, let
Well,
me just tell you.
yeah.
And here's Paula Dean right over there. Oh, what's the RuPaul? Is that RuPaul or RuPaul? You could have all kinds of characters. Lord,
Oh,
you know
goodness.
what?
Does
You got it.
RuPaul live in Savannah?
I don't think so. I just
Oh,
made that up. Was
okay.
it Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil? And it was
Yes, 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 yes.
introduced that character. I can't remember. That's not RuPaul, but might as
Yeah.
well be. Okay, let's just take
Okay.
that.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But yeah, that's funny. Oh my gosh, that is
Oh,
so funny.
I know.
So because this show pretty much was a springboard from Jeannie's Wonderful Folks, I know everybody wants to know, when you think back on our wonderful Jeannie, what all she meant to you, and what you learned from her. I mean, this could be like 3 weeks. I know, with me too.
Oh, well, yeah. How do I
Well,
even
y'all in the
summarize?
tall peg together. I love
Yes.
that. Tell about
Now,
the tall
in
peg.
the National Speakers Association, there's something called a tall peg. And by the way, your friend Randall Reeder
I
was
love
the
Rand.
very first person I met in 2005 at NSA Ohio. You walk in, you don't know anybody. There he is, dressed as Will Rogers with his cowboy hat and his rope and his leather saddle bag. And he walks up to me and goes, how tall are you? What kind of a pervy organization is this? The second I walk in, you want to know my bra size too? I mean, where's this in? And he starts rambling on about Jeannie Robertson, the tall peg. And it was just I didn't know what he was talking about. And eventually I came to learn, when you're a tall woman, and by the way, people go, how tall do you have to be? Let me tell you something. If you're a tall woman, you know it. You don't have to go, oh, I don't know, am I tall enough? You've been told your entire life. Okay.
Right.
So anyway, I went to the convention that year, and what it is, Jeannie started this years and years ago, I think in the 80s, started this tall women's group. And it's, we meet for breakfast. We used to meet, we still do actually. We meet for breakfast on the day of the Monday of the convention. None of this is important. But anyway, we meet for breakfast. And then we split the time. There might be 3 women, there might be 20. You just never know who's going to show or what. We split the time. And then we go around the table, and Jeannie used to give us little assignments. She goes, I want to hear your best marketing idea. And we would tell little ideas. I know one time from a former Miss Utah, another pageant
Oh, that's
lady.
Kathy
Yeah.
Lovelace.
She
I
was
was
with
just with her.
her and Mark Eaton, who was 7'11", 7'11".
Precious thing.
Now
Yeah.
they were going to do some sort of a program together. She goes, we need a name. I go, I got it. Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. That's nice. Jane.
Yeah. So that's what we would do. And over the years, and then, Jeannie with her time would tell us what all she was doing. And this is before she really had hit, but she was still a hugely successful speaker, but it was before the viral videos and all that. So, she would tell us things like, I saw that it was National Volunteer Week at the White House, and they were going to celebrate at the White House. She goes, I do volunteer work. So I volunteered to go and speak. So now she had on her resume, I've spoken at the White House. She's just brilliant like that.
Oh my gosh.
And nobody worked hard, but I wouldn't call her a mentor or a friend. I would say, I would consider her a friend. She was a friend. And we wasn't like best friend. I have her on, I had her cell phone number, but you know what I mean? But I felt, and over the years, it was many, many years that I knew her, that if you add it all together, I'm like, I really got to know her pretty darn well. And so I was at a dinner in Columbus, Ohio, with some other speaker friends, and Barbara Glanz was coming into town. And so a bunch of the speakers, like 6, 7 speakers, said, hey, we're all going to have dinner with Barbara. I said, great. So I thought, let's join and have. So Barbara, one of the speakers there really liked Barbara, and she's kind of gushing all over and everything. And Barbara got a little uncomfortable. She goes, wait a minute. She goes, let's go around the table. She wanted to take the focus off herself, I think. Let's go around the table. Everybody talk about someone who inspires you. So when it got to be my turn, I said, Jeannie Robertson. I said, first of all, so funny, but really, to me, one of the most inspiring things, I don't know if people realize her work ethic.
Oh, goodness.
She worked she
all
just
the time,
well, she had
tirelessly.
8 hours of material on DVD.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
No repeats. I mean, it
right.
was, and so that inspired me probably honestly more than anything because of
I agree with that.
where I was at. And so anyway, she says, "You got to tell her. You got to tell her." And I go, "Okay." Now remember, our relationship is that of two humorists. We're always joking around, laughing, having lots of laughs. This now, the next year at the convention, because Barbara Glanz told me, and I've told Barbara this story. She just howled over it. After told me, I said, "Jeannie, can I talk to you for a minute?" She said, "Sure." And we sat down, and no, it wasn't. It was after the banquet because Tony, her assistant, comes up, and I could tell they have a code. Okay, this is
Oh
how
yeah.
Jeannie gets pulled away if she's, because she comes up and she goes, I got you a glass of wine," and I think that's code for, "Oh, okay, let me go," But she didn't. She waved her off, and I'm telling you, she waved her off. I said, and I got all serious. I started tearing up. I said, "I just want you to know." I forgot the most important part of the story. Jeannie had a few health problems. Now, nothing like towards the end, but she'd had some hospitalizations, some health problems. This is maybe
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I said, "Jeannie, I just want you to know that you and I've never been like that with her. We're not like that, And
Yeah.
I said, I just want you to know how much you mean to me." And she looked down. She goes, "You think I'm gonna die?" And we started laughing. I said, "Barbara Glanz made me do this." I said, "This is so uncomfortable." I said, I am sorry. I'm sorry I said this. I'm sorry I brought it up. It was dumb." I said, I'm not comfortable with it." And we just roared over it. I mean, we just,
That's so.
"You think
Yeah.
I'm going to die?" I said, "What? No, no, Barbara Glanz. It's her fault." Yeah. So we had to throw it off on poor Barbara.